Welcome to Sports on Tap. I'm your host, Rob Troutman, and our next guest comes to us from the RRT Productions hotline, where he has been Brunswick's boys varsity basketball coach for the last 21 years, starting back in 1996. I know you're close to 300 wins in your career. You might even be over that now. But it's Brunswick Blue Devils boys varsity basketball coach Joe Mackey joins us. Coach, thanks for taking time to join us today.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Now, Coach, I know right now you guys are 4-2 right now, 1-1 in the conference. But your two losses, if you look at them so far, they're against an undefeated Highland team and also an undefeated Menor team this year. They're really close. We'll talk about the season in a minute. But talk a little bit about last year and some of the seniors you guys lost and guys on this year's team that are stepping up for you.
Well, last year we had kind of a season for the record books at the high school there. We graduated Aaron Badowski, Kevin Simmons, Zach Sabula, and Michael Quiring. Michael was arguably one of the best point guards, if not the best point guard the school has ever seen. And those four guys are all college players and really hard to replace, but they meant so much to the program, not just as players, but as people as well. They were great leaders. And we had some great role players as well. Josh Heron, the inspiration behind him, and not only coaching but actually dressing and starting on senior night. So the conference championship, the district championship, even the regional, getting down as much as we did against Camp McKinley and making a run there. It was just it was a record book season. It was an honor to be a part of it. But we've been hit with graduation before. I don't know. This one was 11 seniors, all great kids, 4 starters. So it's been tough on us. But this year's team, we've got 3 guys back that played some for us. Gessler being the most recognizable. He started for us as a freshman. Got a lot of experience after. His role has changed dramatically now. He goes from just a role player to a guy that we need to virtually do everything for us. Kevin's brother, Keith Simmons, is our point guard. He played a little down the stretch during our tournament run. And then obviously Zach Zagraf has backed up Aaron in the post. He's now our starter at the 5. And those 3 guys are the only ones we have back with any experience. So obviously we're relying on them mightily, especially at the early part of the season here.
Now, how tough is that for you? Like you said, you lost 11 seniors, and you only have 3 coming back. Do you have to kind of change the offense around to those guys and to other players you think are going to have a role for you? Because, right now you're 4-2, with only 3 guys coming back. That's pretty impressive, but I'm sure it's a tough feat for you before the season to really adjust the offense and defense in certain ways.
Oh yeah, it's not easy. It's not something that you look forward to, but it's something we knew was coming. As soon as the season ended, we took a little bit of a break and then tried to tweak some things to cater to the guys we have coming back. And we lost another player to suspension, which normally doesn't happen in our program, but it did. And he was ticketed as a starter for us. So we played one way all summer. We lost him, so then we had to kind of tweak some things again just prior to the season. So. We're definitely a work in progress, but, if you're a coach, I think somewhere along the line you enjoy challenges. So this is just one of those years where the challenge might be a little bit bigger, but, one that's exciting for me and my staff, and we'll see where we can take these guys.
Yeah, and like I said, you're 1-1 in conference, 4-2 overall, but the 2 losses really to a really good Highland team and Menor. Undefeated on the year. We're pretty close games, back and forth games that you guys were unable to pull out, but you have a nice win against Elyria. Elyria is 4-1, 1-1 in conference, and you guys dominated a very good Pioneer team over there. Talk a little bit about early on in the season, your 4-2 record and some of the wins you've had this year.
Well, it could be either way. We could be a 1-5 team right now. So obviously, you got to take the good with the bad. We'd love to be 6-0, but we're also very realistic. 2-3 weeks ago, that last week of the preseason, we couldn't have been much worse. We couldn't do much on either end of the floor, and we just kind of went back to the drawing board and reiterated some things. Like I think we learned a lot from our preseason. We can't just we've been very consistent. We've gained a lot of respect around Northeast Ohio for how consistent we are year in, year out, despite graduation. But there's no magic button. Just because we have Brunswick across our uniform doesn't mean we're going to be good. And we kind of found that out the hard way in the preseason and into the Highland game. And I give Highland a lot of credit. They've got a nice group, but I think that opened up a lot of people's eyes, especially the guys on the floor. Like we got to do a lot more. There's a lot that goes into winning a varsity basketball game. And I think our guys are slowly starting to figure that out. And the Elyria game was a really big win for us. It was our first road game against a really good team, and kids really bought in and executed the game plan, and it was a good win for us. But then 2 days later, we go out and play Walsh and score 31 points, and it was a complete struggle. So it's just it's the kind of team we are. We're learning every day, coaches included with this group, and like I said, we're not satisfied with 4-2, but we certainly understand it could be a lot worse, so we'll take it and move forward.
Now, talk a little bit about some of the tournaments you were in. You mentioned that Walsh game where you scored 31 points, but you got the win 31-28, and that was in the LeBron James Classic at St. Vincent St. Mary High School. Talk about how special that tournament is, because the last few years you guys have had some buzzer beater wins there that I'm sure can really bond a team and carry on into the regular season games then going forward.
Yeah, it's really an honor when you get asked to participate in an event like that. It's one of the premier events in all of Ohio, and to be asked to come back and participate is something that we're extremely proud of, not just for the school but for the entire community. That's a big thing, and we wanted to take advantage of it. Obviously, we didn't play as well as we would have liked, but just kind of gutted out a win in good old Brunswick fashion. Stuck with it, grinded it out, and just was able to make one more play than Walsh down the stretch. And yeah, 2 years in a row, 2 buzzer beaters. Not the way that you want it, but those are the kind of things you prepare for and practice week in and week out. Those last second situations, and our guys did respond well, made a few plays down the stretch, and it was nice to come away with the win.
Well, and next up tonight, as a matter of fact, you have a 4-1 Solon Comets team, which we talked a little bit about before the interview here. They're a team that likes to really shoot the threes. What are you going to have to do to stop a Solon team? Because really, you look at your conference down the line. I mean, the top 5 teams with you guys at 4-2. You have some 4-1 teams and a 6-0 Medina team at the top. Pretty impressive, really, in the Greater Cleveland Conference right now. But you face a Solon team that's going to be pretty tough tonight.
Well, they have everything, really. They can spread you out. They have guys that can get to the basket. They have guys that can shoot. Reminds me a lot of last year's team that we coached, where we won 21 games. We've got our hands full, but like you said, we're going to have our hands full every time we play a game this year. Not only is our conference tough, but our independent schedule is tough. We have St. Ed's and Youngstown Ursuline and some other teams coming up that are very good as well. So we're at the point now. It's my 21st year. Our program's pretty solid. So, we're going to go out and play anybody, and we'll give them our best shot. We hope it's enough. But like I said, you're absolutely right. It's going to be a battle each night for us, especially losing all these guys. But it's one that we look forward to. It's one of those things where you can run away for the competition or you can embrace it, and we enjoy to embrace it and see if we can knock some of these teams off.
Now, looking at after the new year, you face a Medina team. What's some of the things you've seen in conference with this Medina team? They're 2-0 in conference and 6-0 overall. You play them to start the new year. I mean, like you said, your conference schedule, non-conference and in conference, is just crazy tough with some of the teams you play. What's one thing, you look at Solon, you talked a little bit about them. Now, what about Medina? Your team, that's their next game after the new year, so you have a little bit of a layup. How do you keep them kind of in focus and, on top of their game going into that Medina game?
Well, for us, it's like we did that even last year when we had that special year. It's just we're not good enough to look past anybody, so we'll take one game at a time. I did get a chance to see Medina. They are very guard-oriented, and I think, I've always said this, it's nice to have good 5 men. It's great to have a nice post, but in high school you win with guards, and Medina's got plenty of them. They've got, experience. A lot of those guys were involved, and last year they made it to the district championship game against us, and all their guards played. So that experience is priceless. So that's going to be another difficult task for us. It's something that, like I said, we've got a scouting report on them. We've seen them live now, but we're just kind of focused on Solon right now, and Medina week we'll make sure we take the appropriate time to prepare for them. But certainly isn't going to be one of those games all year long where you can just roll the balls out and win. You got to prepare for every team, so that's why we'll just continue to take one at a time.
Well, Coach, you're in your 21st year. What changes have you seen with the Greater Cleveland Conference? I mean, it used to be the Pioneer Conference. With the game of high school basketball, what are some of the changes you've seen in the game? I know when I watched in the NBA, I thought it used to be a lot slower, and now it's more up-tempo. In high school basketball, what are some of the changes you've seen in your 21 years of coaching?
Well, from a league standpoint, the Pioneer, you always had, six games where you thought, you can play poorly and win. In our new league, since this new league has started, that there is no playing mediocre. You have to play well every night in order to win. So that's one thing. From the game in general, I think every coach is still different. I think the NBA and the college game, and a lot of teams are going to more of a stretch four, playing four guards.
Mm-hmm.
We're no different, but it all depends. Our roster. Like 2 years ago, we had Eric Bullock and Nate Armagast, and they were 6'7", 6'6", so we pounded the post a little bit more. But I think the colleges are going out and recruiting guys that can play a little bit more open post, and high school. I think a lot of teams are doing the same thing. It's just every year could be different, though. It all depends on the public education and who you have. So you just kind of you take a look at your team and you take a look at the best possible offense and defense to help you win that particular year. That's the way I always have done it. But I think the biggest change has been that there's been a lot more three-pointer shot, I would imagine, in the past 5 to 7 years, and I think that has a lot to do with how they're playing overseas, and it's kind of coming over here a little bit more.
Well, Coach, I really appreciate taking time out of your day to talk to us here on Sports on Tap. And from all of us at Sports on Tap, we want to wish you a happy holiday, and we'll look forward to talking to you down the road during the season and maybe before the playoffs start in high school basketball.
Yeah, anytime, Rob. I always appreciate you guys having me on. Say hello to your staff, and Merry Christmas to you guys.
All right, thanks, Coach. I appreciate it. All right, that's head coach of the Brunswick Blue Devils boys varsity basketball team, Joe Mackey, joining us here on Sports on Tap. I want to thank him for joining us, and want to thank all of our listeners out there. Have a great Christmas, great holiday, and from all of us at Sports on Tap, take care.